be playing Fortress, which is another pretty old solitaire game. This is an open solitaire game, which means it is a solitaire where all of the cards will be dealt out at the very beginning of the game. So, there's no hidden information. You have everything you need to solve the puzzle available to you from the start. Of course, that doesn't mean the puzzle is always solvable. In fact, Fortress has a pretty low win rate. It's one of the harder open solitaire games. I believe a computer can solve it about 20% of the time. For a human player, it's slightly lower. I think my win rate in this game is like 10 to 15%. Which means there's a chance we won't be able to solve it in this video, but however, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to play way more games in this video than I normally play in a typical video. And the way I'm going to do that is that if I play a game where there's basically nothing I can do from the beginning, I'm just going to cut out all the shuffling and redealing and just skip to the next game. So, that way, we'll be able to go through many games, and hopefully we'll be able to win one, just by, going through so many. I will still include some shuffling and dealing, since I know a lot of people like the shuffling and dealing. The sounds and the motions can be very relaxing. And I agree, I also like the shuffling and dealing. So we won't cut it all out. Just enough so that we can get through a good amount of games. And hopefully get a win tonight. Of course, it would be very silly if I go through this whole preamble and then the first game ends up being a win or something like that. But we'll see if that happens. My luck in this game has been very bad lately. I don't think I've gotten a win in my last 15 games or something like that, so I will just be excited if we manage to get one tonight. Alright, that's enough of the preamble. Let's deal out our first game of Fortress. Now, traditionally, this game is dealt in a vertical setup, where the cards are dealt out like this, similar to Beleaguered Castle, and then you have the stacks like that. But we're not going to be doing it that way because this game has 10 tableau piles, which means that the layout is 5 cards in vertical length. And as you can see, it's kind of hard to fit all of that in my camera view here. So to make it easier, we're going to be kind of boring, and we're going to play it in a more standard horizontal layout. So we're just going to deal the 10 piles out horizontally. Not as visually interesting, but it's the same game in terms of how the mechanics actually work, so it's no big deal. Okay. The starting layout actually looks a little bit similar to 40 Thieves or Sea Haven Towers. Now, all of the piles are going to have 5 cards except for 2. 2 of the piles are going to have 6 cards. And it doesn't really matter which piles have 6, as long as you decide before you start dealing and don't pick based on a whim, based on what cards you see coming out. So the piles that I'm going to deal the extra cards to are going to be the first pile and the last pile. So we've got these two cards remaining. In Sea Haven Towers, these two cards go in the cells right here, but in Fortress, they go on the sides, or, you know, in any pile, but there's no cells, so the goal of the game is to stack up 4 foundation piles from ace to king in suit. So the foundation piles each start with an ace, then you add a 2 of the same suit, then you add a 3 and a 4, and you go all the way up to king. On the tableau, we stack in ascending or descending sequence by suit. So an 8 of spades can be stacked on top of a 7 of spades, or a 7 of spades may be stacked on top of an 8 of spades. It goes in both directions. However, there is no turning the corner, as it's called. In other words, a king cannot be stacked on top of an ace. You can only move one card at a time, and if you empty out one of the piles, you may place any card in the empty space. And that's all the rules, so let's see if we have any chance of winning this first deal. And like I said, this game has very low odds of winning, so probably not, but we'll see what we can do. Oh, and I never even mentioned the deck, I totally forgot. We're using the bicycle webbed deck, and you can see what the back design looks like on this Joker. But we won't really be seeing the backs because this is an open game, so all the cards are dealt face up. So at the start, the first thing you want to do is see which potential moves are available. In this instance, I can see 2. We have the 3 and the 4, and the 7 and the 8. Now when you have moves like this, you always need to remember that moves can go both ways. So the 3 can go on the 4, or the 4 can go on the 3. When you have 2 connected cards, that gives you 2 potential moves, not just 1. Now I am seeing if we move this 4 to the 3 and the 7 to the 8, we could move the 7 of hearts to the 8 of hearts, or the 8 of hearts to the 7 of hearts. It would unlock a new move. Unfortunately, I don't think either of those moves is very useful to us. We can reveal the 3 of spades, but without the 2 of spades, we can't move it to a foundation. If we move the 8 of spades to the 7 of spades, we reveal the 2 of hearts, but we can't do anything with that either. The ace of hearts is right here, but we can't get to it. We would need a 5 or a 3 to move this 4 of clubs to, and then we would need a 10 or a queen of spades to move the jack of spades to. But I don't think we can make either of those. I'm just kind of looking around to see. And besides those, I don't think we have any other available moves we could make. Yeah, looking at the board, I think this one is unfortunately hopeless. I don't see any way to move past the beginning. Our only moves don't seem to unlock any new options for us. So this one is no good. We will take all the cards, reshuffle, and try again. Okay. So, our next game here, let's see. We have the 4 and the 5 here as potential moves, but I think that's it. Well, if we move the 4 to the 5, then we have the 6 and the 7 here. The 7 could be moved to the 6 and the 6 over to the 5 as well. But we don't have a queen of clubs to move that king to. Oh, I should probably mention that Similar to Beleaguered Castle, your first goal in this game is almost always to try to get an empty pile. So getting aces is nice, it is helpful, but it's best if you can try to get an empty pile. That's usually what determines whether or not you win. Now we could move this 4 to here and this 3 to here onto the 4 of spades, then we take the ace, but this 6 unfortunately does not have anywhere to go. Our 7 of spades is here, we would have to move that first. The 5 of spades is here, that's what we would need to move. Now we do have a 7 of here, we could do something like 5 to 4, 7 to 6, 6 to 7, and then we could move all of the 5 and the 4 over to the 6, and we would have this kind of stack building up here. But we don't have, if we had a 3 of diamonds that we could move all that stuff to, that might be useful. But the 3 of diamonds is actually in this pile, so we wouldn't be able to move any of those cards until we make an empty space. Hang on, I'm looking at a line. 5 to 4, 6 to 7, 5 to 6, 4 to 5. No, because then we can't move this. I was thinking about maybe trying to uncover this 5, but I don't think that would be possible. Where's the 8 of diamonds? It's right here underneath this 3 of hearts, but we can't move the 3 of hearts. We would need the 4 of hearts or the 2 of hearts, and we can't get under either of those. I think this one is another one that is not possible. I'm going to move the 4 here and the 3 here just to take this ace, but I think once we take this ace, I believe the game can no longer be won. Now, I think what I actually could have done is I could have moved the 5 onto the 4, moved the 6 to here, and then moved the 5 to 4 to here. But I don't think that would have made any difference. I think the game would have been blocked either way. Okay, well, let's try again. And by the way, if you see any of these deals and you see a line I could have taken that I missed, definitely let me know in the comments, because I'm very curious to know if any of these are winnable. Alright, well, we start with an ace, and I see these 2 moves right here, and these 2 moves, and this 3 connects with the 4, and this 9 connects. Ooh, we've got one. We've got an empty pile, finally. I say finally, it's only the 3rd game, but I'll just take a double check just to make sure there's not something else we want to pursue instead. But it's looking like that's what we want to do. We even get an ace out of it. Yeah, alright, let's do it. So the 8 goes to the 7. The 3 goes to the 4. The 9 goes to the 8, and we take the ace of hearts. There we go. Our first empty pile of the night. Will it lead to a win is the question. Now let's see. Where is our 2 of clubs is right here. And our 2 of hearts is right here. We could move the 4 and the 3 over to the 5. And I know I said you can only move 1 card at a time, but what we could do is we could move the 3 to here, and then the 4 to the 5, and then the 3 to the 4. But I don't know if we want to do that yet. I would like this ace, but I don't think we can get to it. We would need a 6 or a 4 to move this. And then we would also need to find spaces for these 2 cards, which I don't think we have at the moment. Oh, I see a move we can do. Okay, let's move the jack to the empty space, the 3 of diamonds to the 4, then we take this to the foundation, and then we'll move this back on top of the queen. I'm wondering if we could somehow maneuver this so we could get the jack and the queen underneath with the 10 on top, but I don't think we can do that without another... Oh, there is a way we can do it actually. Jack, and then queen on the jack, 10 over to the 9, then we swap the queen and the jack again, and then the 10 and the 9 go here, and then we can do another swap and get this pile on top of the queen even, or the king I mean, and yeah, we're definitely gonna do that because that gets us 2 empty spaces. and 2 empty spaces really starts to open up what we can get done. And I don't mean to spoil, or I don't mean to give spoilers or anything, but once a fortress deal starts to open up to this degree, you almost always are able to win if you're patient enough and careful enough. So let's just try not to screw this up, and hopefully we can get the win. I'm gonna move the 3 and the 4 like this, the 2 over here, the queen to its own space, then the ace of diamonds, and then the 4, and then the 3. Now we lost an empty space, but we got that ace, and I think we can get to... Oh no, did I screw it up? Oh no. Okay, hang on. I think we can get to the 2 of diamonds. I just need to think a little bit. Maybe I should have done the thinking before I started moving the cards. I think I got a little too excited because this game was looking really good. And I haven't had a game of Fortress get this far in a long time. Okay, hang on. Let's see where this goes. 9, 8, 7. Queen onto the king. And then put these back like this. And now we transfer this pile to the empty space. The jack comes over onto the queen, and then we get the 2, and now we can move all these to the foundation. Okay. I got bailed out. That was scary, but I think we're okay now. We can move the 6 to here, and the 10 here, and now we've got our 2 empty spaces back. I'm going to move the 6 and the 5 to the empty spaces, take the 2 of hearts, and then move them back onto the 7 right here. Now I want this, and I will take it like this. These all go to the foundation now. Oh, since this is a game where you stack foundations in suit, and you also stack on the tableau in suit, there is no reason to leave cards on the field if you can move them to the foundation. So if a card can be moved to the foundation, you can just safely do it. You're not going to regret that decision. Let's transfer the 5, 6, and 7 of spades onto this 8. This king goes onto the queen. Wait a minute. Oh wait, these can just go. I was just saying that there's no reason to leave stuff on the field, and then I forgot to put those spades onto the foundation. And that completes our spade foundation. Alright, very nice. This can go to the foundation as well, as can this, and this, and this, and now, yeah, we've definitely won this game now. Nice. Oh, I'm so glad we won one so early. Oh man, like I said, my luck with this game has been so bad off camera. I played so many games and could not win one. But once I turn the camera on, that's what happens. I don't know why you would expect that my luck would get worse when I turn the camera on. Because, you know, it's that whole thing where in practice you can do something a million times and then you have to do it on stage, so to speak. And then immediately you can't do it anymore. But for some reason when I'm recording these solitaire games, it always turns out the opposite way. And as soon as I start recording, my luck always turns around. And sometimes it is due to editing, like I do sometimes edit games out, but not as often as you might think. I usually only edit out games if I'm having like a really, really bad session where just nothing is happening. like most of my sessions are not edited very much. I rarely cut games. And there we go. All the cards ordered from ace to king in suit. Wow, I can't believe we got a win so quickly. But I'll definitely take it. Let's try again. Let's see if we can get multiple. I would be ecstatic if we got multiple wins tonight. The thing is, I almost blew that first win too. I made a few moves without fully thinking about it, but I got bailed out afterwards. So, try to avoid that. Let's give it one more. Actually, maybe let's give it two more, since we just won a deal, so all the cards are in order. So we'll just be a little extra thorough to make sure they're all nice and shuffled. Alright, let's give it another go. Start with an ace, and two of our other aces are quite close to the surface. Let's see, what moves do we have? We have this 3 and this 4 right here, but I think that actually might be it. We have the 3 and the 4. We can reveal the 6 of hearts and the king of spades, but I don't think we can actually do anything with either of those cards. Yeah, it looks like this one is pretty obviously unwinnable. We can move the 4 to the 3, reveal the king of spades, but there's no queen of spades to place it on. We can move the 3 to the 4, reveal the 6 of hearts, but there is no 5 of hearts or 7 of hearts to put it on, and none of the other cards can be moved. So this game is a loss. A pretty quick one. Start with an ace, and we have the 3 and the 4 right here, which could get us another ace. Let's see what other moves we have first, though. We've got this king and queen. Ooh, I wish we could get to that 4 of spades, because we could move the king to the queen, the 3 to the 4, and then we would take this ace, and we could get 2, 3, and 4. But without the 4, we can't move this 3 out of the way. It's stuck there. Is there any way we could get to this 4? I mean, first we would need to move this 8, but I don't see any way of getting that 8 off the 2. We would need a 7 of spades or a 9 of spades. The 9 is here, blocked by a 5 and a 7, which we have no way of moving. The 7 is here, blocked by a 4 of hearts, a 2 of diamonds, and a 2 of hearts. Oh, wait a minute, I'm seeing something. If we move this king of hearts to the queen of hearts, queen of clubs to the jack of clubs, and then this 10, we could move this 4 to the 3 and this 10 to the jack, reveal the 2 of hearts. But I don't think that actually leads any... Oh, wait. The 10 of hearts could... Oh, wait, it would. We could get an empty space like that. Okay, hang on. Do we want to do that? Is there any alternatives? I'll just take a quick look. If not, I'm just going to dive right in. Nothing is jumping out to me, so let's do it. And we get that 2 of hearts. 10 goes to the 9, 8 to the 9, and we've got our first empty space of the game. Now where do we go from here? That's the tough part. Well, actually, getting the empty space is definitely the toughest part, but this part is also hard. Making use of the empty space once you have it. I think I have an idea. I'm gonna move the 10 and the jack over here. This 8 onto the 7. Then this 8 and 9 onto the 7 of... No. I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna move this 7 here. I thought I had an idea. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Okay. King. Queen. And then jack. 10. And then we go 7, 8 to the empty space, and then 9, 8, 7. Okay, we've got a nice clean heart stack here. Unfortunately, it's not extremely obvious where to go from here. I am considering, but I thought it was going to be kind of cracked open by this point, but I'm looking and I'm not really seeing the moves that I wanted to see. Or that I expected to see, I guess. We can take this ace. I wanted to take these two, but just the one empty space isn't enough. I thought it was going to be, but it's not. Because if we move this 4 and 3 to the empty space, we take the ace. Now we don't have an empty space to reverse this 2 and 3. We would still need the 4. And I mean, we could move the 8 to the empty space, take the 2 to the foundation, but then we can't get past this 4. And even if we could, we move the 3 and the 2 over, we still need to get to this ace. And this would be in our empty space, so we can't do that. Now hang on, I can move this jack and queen onto this 10. Ooh, we might have something. We do this. Then this would go to the empty space. This jack goes on the 10. This king goes on the queen. This 3 could go to the 4. Or do we want the 4 to go to the 3? Actually, I don't... Once again, I don't know if that even actually... I don't know if that actually makes us any progress now. I thought it did. But we have to fill this empty space with this king. And what if we did this? I don't think that actually helped at all. Well, wait, maybe. We reverse this pile. Queen, jack, 10 to the king. And then the jack, 10, 9 of diamonds go to the queen. Does that do anything? I don't know, I'm gonna do it. I'm not doing as much planning into the future as I probably should be. We still can't make any progress on this front, though. We still only have one empty space. Man, I've never seen a board with so much movement available where I still can't figure out what to do. These two being swapped like this, the 3 on top of the 2 is creating so many problems. If these two were swapped, this would be so over. I think this is blocked. That's so crazy because it feels like it should not be, but I don't see a way forward. I have a feeling this was winnable. I think I probably went wrong somewhere. I'm sure this one was winnable because it's just too close to not be winnable. I must have made some kind of mistake. Well, I'll just take the ace. And then from here, I believe we are blocked. Darn. That one seemed like it was so close. I might have to plug that one into a solver and see what I should have done. I don't know if FC Solve supports Fortress. I'm gonna have to look and see. But anyways. Yeah. That's disappointing. I feel like that one was totally winnable. Alright, well, let's keep going. It would have been so nice to get 2 wins. But maybe it's not over. I'm still willing to play a few more. Maybe we can get lucky again. Oh, by the way, I can't believe I didn't remember to say this sooner. But thank you so much. We just hit 1,000 subscribers. That's so amazing. It's so hard to express my gratitude. I never thought that we would reach this point, let alone so quickly. Less than 2 months ago, I had less than 100 subscribers. And just after the Scoundrel video, the support has just been so amazing, and I never thought I would have a YouTube channel with this many subscribers and so many people leaving nice comments and enjoying the videos, so yeah, thank you so much. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I feel like the proper thing would be to do some kind of special episode, but I don't even know what to do. I have done special videos in the past. The usual format is I pick a game, and then I play that game plus 3 variants of the game, and the video ends up being about 2 hours long because I play 4 games of each variant, which ends up being, about 30 minutes per variant. And I thought maybe I could do something like that, but I don't know. I feel like maybe I should do something different. I don't know. I'm still trying to think about it. And this is actually going to be the second video I've uploaded after hitting 1,000 subscribers. My Grid Cannon video is going to come out. I'm actually recording this before I've uploaded the Grid Cannon video. I've finished editing it, but I haven't uploaded it yet. So, but I forgot to mention it in that video because when I was recording the Grid Cannon video, I hadn't yet reached 1,000 subscribers, so I just totally didn't think to mention it, even though I probably should have known when I was recording it that I was going to hit 1,000 by the time it came out. But I do not have that much foresight, apparently. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do for 1,000 subs. I don't know. I might just do a big medley episode where I just pick a whole bunch of games I played, games I haven't played, and just do one big long episode where we play a whole bunch of different games. Like, I don't know. That sounds fun. We've got the 10 and the jack here. And is that it? We've got a ton of 2s, but we can't get to any of the aces. Oh wait, we can get to the ace of clubs if we do jack to 10, 9 to 10. We get the ace and that ace, but nowhere for the 6. We would need 5, which is right here, 7, which is right here. What if instead of moving the 9 to the 10 and taking the ace, we move the 10 to the 9, and then we can move this 3 to the 2. But we have no 7 or 9 for this 8. Is there any chance we can move this? 4 is buried down here. 6 is also down here. So, no chance we can get down there. We can move the 10 to the jack, but we don't have a queen for this card. We could get to the jack, but the 10 is all the way down here. I wish this 3 of spades wasn't so buried, because if we could start digging into this column, that would be perfect. But we can't move that 2 unless we have the 3 or an empty space. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing a way forward with this one. Let's just do these moves. Take our ace and a 2. But once we reach this point, I think we are stuck. Yeah, no more moves, unfortunately. Okay, let's go again. Let's see what we've got. We've got the 3, 4, and 5, and 2. That's a lot of cards that we can move at the start. That's usually a pretty good sign. I'm actually seeing a way we might be able to scoop up a bunch of cards into the foundation right off the start. Let's move this 3 onto the 4, this 5 over to the 4 of hearts, this 6 onto the 7, take the ace of spades. This 2 of spades goes to the foundation, then we bring the 5 and 4 of spades over here. Now we can actually move this 2 to the 3 and this queen to the king. But then we have to get past this 6 if we want to get to the 5 of diamonds. So can we get to that 7 of clubs? Well, we need either the 8 of clubs or the 6 of clubs. Oh, we can get to it, I think. Okay, so the 4 goes here, we take the ace, this king goes to the queen, that reveals the 8, we take this to the foundation because we have the ace, this goes here, then the 4 and the 3 go over. Okay, let's do that. That doesn't actually get us an empty space, but I think it's probably the right way to go. Let me just make sure I'm not going to regret this. I think I actually should not necessarily go ahead with this if it's not going to get an empty space. Like, this seems like the right choice, but if it doesn't get me an empty space, I actually don't know if it... Oh, wait, I just realized we can take the 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Hang on, let's consider. We can get an empty space. We won't get the 5, but this can go here. So the king of hearts goes to the queen of hearts, queen of spades to king of spades. 8 of clubs to 7 of clubs, and then the 10 goes over to the 9 of hearts. That gets us an empty space. I think that's the path we want to go down. Not the path that I said before. We can potentially still do that, but... Oh, with the empty space we can just move the 4 into there, and then take the 3 and the 4. That's perfect. Now, where to go from here? Uh-oh. This might be another so close yet so far moment. I'm not seeing a way forward that doesn't get us stuck. If one of these jacks was not so far down, we could move this 10 of diamonds, or this 10 and 9 of hearts. We could reverse this stack here, but we can't get past the 10 of clubs. The 9 is here, and the jack of clubs is all the way down here. We could move the king to the empty space and the 8 here, but we don't have the ace of clubs yet. We move the 10 to the empty space, the queen of diamonds onto the king, but then we don't have an empty space to move this king of clubs. The queen is stuck under a 7 that we can't move. I can't believe this is another one where it looks like it's so close to being possible. The king and queen of hearts go over here, the 7 goes here, but we can't do anything with that 3. of clubs, queen and king to the empty space, 10 over here, 9 to the 8. But then this jack, this will be in queen with king on top, not king with queen on top. So the jack has nowhere to go. Oh wait, the jack can, wait, oh my god, I think that's the line. Maybe. Maybe I'm getting too excited. I don't know. Let's try it. 10 of spades over here, 9 to here, jack to here. Now 3 goes onto the 4, queen and king, then the jack, 10 and 9. Does that change anything? Yes, it does. Because we can transfer this entire pile like this. Then the 7 comes over, and then the rest of this pile comes back over like this. This 10 comes over, then the 10, and the 9 like this. Let's reverse this pile so the jack is on top. Okay, I'm going to move this entire pile like this. 9 and 10 here. This jack comes over to the 10. This pile goes to an empty space like this. Then we move the queen onto the jack, and then these all come back. The 7 comes over, queen of clubs. Then we get the ace of hearts. Now we reverse this pile and we take all of it to the foundation. Okay, I think we won this one. I was starting to give up. I really, after that game where we came so close, I thought it was gonna happen again, but it looks like we did manage to win this one. Oh, that's awesome. Like I said, I played like 15 games of this off camera as practice for this video, and I could not win a single one. So I'm extremely happy that I was able to win too. That's much better than I expected tonight to go. Alright, 2 games of Fortress 1. This is such a hard game, but it's so satisfying to win. Actually, the reason I got turned on to this game is because if you're a fan of Solitaire, you may be aware of the Zachtronics Solitaire Collection, which is an extremely good Solitaire collection on Steam. And that collection is not just regular old solitaires, it's a bunch of custom solitaires, many of which use custom decks and mechanics. One of the games on that collection is called Fortune's Foundation, and it is a variant of Fortress that combines the standard deck with a tarot deck, and it's one of the coolest solitaire games I've ever played. I absolutely love it. And I actually played that before I played Fortress, and it made me want to try Fortress. So I tried this game out, and I've loved it ever since. I love how hard it is, and how satisfying it is to win. And yeah, it's a classic. It's been around since the 1800s, and I think it has stuck around for good reason. It is very, very fun. So that's going to be all for this video. I hope you enjoyed Fortress. I'm really satisfied that I was able to win 2 games tonight, and I hope you found it enjoyable to watch. Thank you so much to the 1,000 of you who decided that you like my videos enough to be subscribed to this channel. It blows my mind, and I can't thank you all enough. And until the next video, thank you for watching. Have a good